Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you my plan A for all my workout plans. I showed you plan D and now we're going to do plan A. So with this one it's a lot of lunging. First I'm going to start out with Rio, and he's such a sweet boy, but again, everyone is very much out of shape. These are my plans to try to break up all the different kinds of stuff we do during the week. That way, they don't get bored and everything feels monotonous. It can really mess with a horse's psyche. So we get started with a little bit of trot. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm making them trot for 1 minute without stopping, and then walk for a minute in between to give them a bit of a break. And depending on the horse's level of endurance, like Rio, he doesn't get quite as hard a workout because not only is he older, but he is also dealing with all of the issues with the breathing issues that we're still trying to work through and figure out, and I don't want to overdo it with him. One thing that I have noticed about the horses you're going to see in this, because I'm using 3 horses during all this, Rio, Dash, and Britches, my trainer's horse, but they all are just completely different to work with. Rio is very lazy. It takes a lot to get him moving and going when he needs to trot, and that can be very frustrating sometimes. But for the most part, that's the biggest thing I have to deal with him. He's older. He's the oldest one. He's my old man. So, yeah. He's not very sensitive to anything as far as, like, the whip or whatever. He knows it's a tool. He knows it's for communication. But it's not like he's going, oh my gosh, that's scary. He just goes, oh, okay, fine. I guess I gotta get moving. And once we've done our workout and we've gone both directions, and depending on how he's doing, how many times, for Rio right now he's kind of at a lower gauge as opposed to the others, but we do a walk down to make sure we get the heart rate back down and everything. And sometimes he is so lazy in his walk, I've got to be like, okay, come on, walk a little bit more, come on. Oh, it's kind of hilarious. You really have to work hard to keep him moving. And then we're all done, and we'll give this sweet boy a treat and send him on his way. He knows exactly what this means. Next up, we have Britches, and this is my trainer's horse. He is, I believe, 6, and he is an extremely, extremely reactive. You're going to see a big difference in him as opposed to Rio, where Rio, I'm having to push him and push him and push him to do. Britches is like, I barely have to do anything, and he is on it. He's like, okay, I'm going. And part of this, some of it is good, and some of it is not good, because one thing you'll see with dealing with him going those directions, and one thing is he needs the most workout out of all of them. He is not in a good weight. He is fat. And he is what we call an easy keeper. He just is. He can look at grass and gain weight. It's really not good. But one thing about him, though, being overweight, is that he quickly gets out of breath easier. So it's kind of a balance between working him too hard and working him hard enough to actually make a difference. He's extremely reactive. It's really hard to finally get him. You see, even getting him into this walk break in between sessions of trotting, he is like on it, and he is just kind of waiting for me to do anything. Even there you can see I just kind of barely even moved the whip, and he kind of went ahead, and now he's like looking at me like, what are you doing? And I have to be careful, because if I give him too much of a signal, he's going to trot off. I just want him to walk. But he has kind of a scatterbrain. And that's one thing that I'm working on with him. One thing I can do with both Dash and Rio is I can kind of whip around the lunge whip. And as long as I'm not directing it towards them and communicating with them, they understand that I'm just kind of flinging it around and it's not really a problem. But with Britches here, he sees it move even a little bit and he is like extremely reactive. You'll see here, I'll just kind of move my hand just a little bit, not even like pull the whip up, just move it a little bit, and he immediately is like going into a trot, and I have to tell him to slow down. I just say easy, get him back down to a walk. And that's the kind of stuff, like I can't even hardly move my hand that has the lunge whip in it without him reacting immediately to it and thinking I'm asking him to do something. Another thing is for some reason he gets these weird communication vibes and he'll just start turning around, because he's so sensitive to it, and it can be quite annoying because he'll just randomly change directions even though I am not asking him to. And then we walk him down. So the youngest one, super reactive, we're working on different stuff, and I try to kind of like whip the whip around a little bit when I can to just see if he'll not react and just continue to stay walking and realize sometimes I'm just doing stuff and not asking. And then it's time for a treat. Oh. Rio's the only one who actually come to me when it's time for a treat. It's kind of hilarious. Next up is Dashy Boy, and Dash is in the middle. So you got Rio, who's in his 20s. You've got Dash, who is in his teens. He is 16. And then you have Britches, who is 6. Now, one thing about Dash that I love lunging Dash. Dash is a really good horse to lunge. He's very attentive of what I'm asking him. I can fling the lunge whip around, and unless he understands I'm communicating with him, he knows that there's not any reason to really react. He's very, very good about paying attention to me, and he's good about turning, and he listens to when I ask him to slow down to a walk, and he also is very reactive to trotting. In a good way. And a lot of the things that have to do with horses and how they act when they're being lunged, things like that, have a lot to do with how they were raised and all that great stuff. I'm paying very close attention again. We've been working on his feet and his front left heel. It's been one thing that has been an on and off battle, and I am so paranoid about it. I think sometimes I see lameness when there probably is not, and I have to really work on it, especially considering that front left is on the same side as his torn hips, where his muscles tore and healed back. But yeah, he's really my easiest one to lunge. He listens, he knows very subtle things I have to say to him to listen, but at the same time, I can just fling that whip around and he is not concerned when he knows I'm not trying to ask him to do something. Now, one thing that we have noticed recently is that this little paint, Levi out there, who has a white face and reminds me so much of Buddy, Rio is like his best bud, and they hang out together a lot, which I think is adorable. And we're done. And Sweet Dash, he is probably in the best shape out of the three of the horses, even though he's not in great shape. And he's been kind of iffy about these treats recently. Sometimes I'll give it to him and he'll just eat it right up, and sometimes I'll give it to him, he'll crack it, and then he'll just drop it on the ground. Picky boy, but he's a sweet one. And we're just going to take him and put him back where he goes. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.